Out of all the consoles that I own, the Xbox 360 seems to be the one that I really have the least amount of history with. I mean, it's the console I've had for the longest, but I've played it the least out of everything that I own, all of the consoles that I own. Mostly because I'm not really an Xbox gamer. All the main games you usually hear surrounding Xbox, I really haven't played them, mostly because a lot of them aren't my thing. But for some reason, at some point I thought it'd be cool to get one. Specifically, I got my 360 Christmas of 2016. I saw it at a game store and I asked my parents if I could get it for Christmas, and that ended up becoming my first gaming console. Why I only got my first gaming console in 2016? Well, I grew up poor, so I didn't really have it was hard for me to have a console for myself. Like, I had a PS2 and a Wii I could have played on growing up, but the problem was that my sister owned it, and I did have handhelds that I had just to play on, but like, I'm talking about like a home console. In the first 2 years of me having the thing, I did play it quite a bit. I played more casual games because, one, again, I didn't really care for the main games that you would see on Xbox, so I didn't really play. I played Call of Duty, but like at friends' houses. Like, I wasn't gonna own that thing myself, and other games like that. I just didn't own it. I was playing casual games because I was more of a casual gamer. I was very much a casual gamer. But after a couple of years, I stopped playing on my Xbox. I was more focused on the Switch and just other stuff. Like, I still wanted to play on my 3DS a little bit, but mainly the Switch. I just stopped caring about Xbox altogether. So it was an annoying few years because I kept thinking, like, I want to play on this thing, but like, I just don't really want to have it. So at some point I'm trying to sell it. I'm like, I don't want it anymore. That ended up not happening for multiple reasons. So here I am with an Xbox that I still own that I don't really want. But now I'm kind of glad I still own it because, for starters, and it's kind of a big reason why I wanted to make the video, the marketplace for the 360 is about to shut down in a matter of days as when I'm recording this. And I never would have been able to experience that if I didn't keep the Xbox. Back when I first got it, I didn't really mess with the marketplace, I believe. I think I did get a digital game, like just one digital game, so I think I did explore it a little bit when I first got it. Otherwise, I just did not care for it. But this year, a couple of months ago, I finally looked at it with a fresh set of eyes. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I basically knew nothing about Xbox Live Arcade, all the themes, and even the avatar shop. There's just a ton of stuff in there that I didn't really care for at all, or I didn't know about, that I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. So I ended up picking up a bunch of demos so I can just see kind of what the shop had to offer. And plus, I like a good demo or two just because, you know, it's free. But I didn't pick up any games yet because I wanted to wait until we get closer to the deadline to get them, just because I didn't want to spend it all at that point. I wanted to wait. And I do want to get a couple of games that are pretty cheap. So maybe I'll talk about them later on. But it's really cool that I have the opportunity to get some of these games, especially since some of these games, they're pretty cheap on here. And I feel like they're cheaper here, or some of them are cheaper here than you would be in other places, or the prices are pretty close. But like this all made me kind of realize how much I kind of underestimated the 360. And this has really been the year that I've been starting to get into the console more, and I've been starting to just take advantage of it more. Last year, I know I said this year, but last year I played Final Fantasy 13. I was like, oh hey, I have a 360, let me use that to play this game. That ended up being a mistake because I ended up hating the game. But still, that made me get the Xbox back out and start to play it. And now I'm playing a couple more games now. Like, I just recently got into the Burnout series. I played Burnout 2 on GameCube, but then I got Burnout 3 for the OG Xbox, but it's backwards compatible on the 360. And I'll talk about that game more in the future, but it's been a really fun time, and I never would have experienced that if it weren't for the 360. and now I'm just wanting to play games that I have never really played before. I know I've said that I didn't really play any of the main Xbox games that you know, but like, I do own Halo 3. I bought it off of a friend years ago along with a bunch of other games because I was like, why not? I don't have a lot of games at all, so I'll buy it off of you. I sold a bunch of the games a couple years ago, but I kept Halo 3, and I did actually try it out recently just for a little bit before I went to bed, and it reminded me that I'm not good at FPSs, but it was cool to actually play a Halo game a little bit. Hopping back to the marketplace, I was wanting to check out Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. These aren't Xbox games really, but I didn't realize that they were available on 360, and they're both pretty cheap. So I ended up getting the demos for those, and I wasn't very used to how those games ran. Sonic Adventure in particular, I really struggled with, and then I hopped to Adventure 2 and I struggled with that one too, but then I went back to Adventure 1 to see if it really was just jank or I just wasn't used to it. But once I hopped back to Adventure, it felt a lot better. So I'm thinking maybe I'll pick up one or both of those games on 360, probably Adventure 2, and I'll probably just get DX, Sonic Adventure DX on Steam or something. But that's what I'm talking about. It's an opportunity. The 360 is now an opportunity for me to play more games I've never played before and just take advantage of the library that I really just ignored forever. So yeah, I really just had a lot of growing pains with the 360 with the time I had it, because like, I'm not really a 360 guy, or I'm not really an Xbox guy, but I am so glad I never got rid of this thing because it ended up being a really valuable asset. That was probably all over the place, but I just wanted to take the time to talk about the 360 since I have somewhat of a weird history with it. I mean, what else is new with me in video games? But yeah, that's all I got. Later.